How can you survive summer in Germany without air conditioning?
Welcome to YD. Why do Germans do things the way they do?
In fact, people have survived most of the time without air conditioning. William Haviland Carrier only invented air conditioning at the beginning of the 20th century. Before that, people in the relevant region simply built their houses in such a way that they stayed cool, whether with bare tile floors as in India or wind catchers known as bagdir in the former Persian region. I live in a half-timbered house from 1860, and in my office on the ground floor, I sometimes wonder in summer whether I should put on a long sleeve shirt because it's so cool in the office. And of course, we are familiar with air conditioning. Almost every car has air conditioning these days, and air conditioning in trains is sometimes the reason why an ICE train breaks down in summer. When the IC trains were developed and built in the 1980s and put into service in 1991, they were still based on typical German summers where temperatures sometimes reached 30 degrees Celsius rather than summer days with temperatures above 35 degrees. This means that old systems are simply not suitable for the hotter temperatures caused by man-made climate change. But let's stick to our houses. How do we survive the few hot summer months in them? When you wake up in the morning, open all the windows and air out the house, preferably a little longer than in winter, because now we want everything, including the walls, to be as cold as possible. When you leave the house, between 8 and 9 at the latest, close the windows completely and do not leave them tilted open. In addition, lower the roller shutters until only diffused light enters the room. The shutters facing south in particular, but also those facing east or west, should be lowered. The shutters are installed in front of the window, where they are heated by the sun. But since windows in Germany are at least double glazed, the heat remains outside. If you have internal blinds, the heated blind is then inside the room. This is therefore not quite as effective, but better than having the sunlight heating everything in the room. When you come home in the afternoon, you will be happy to find a cool flat. You can now open the roller shutters as soon as the sun is no longer shining on the window. Only late in the evening you should open the windows again. This depends somewhat on where you live. In a small town, in a quiet neighborhood, or the countryside, you can leave the windows open all night, at least tilted open. In a big city, or if there is a busy road in front of your house, it is better to open the windows wide an hour before going to bed and let the air circulate, and then close them at night for a restful sleep. In principle, this works on every floor. On the ground floor, you should of course make sure that no uninvited guests come in, and under the roof, well, that's miserable in summer. In principle, you do the same thing there, but it's always warmer under the roof. A damp cloth can help to provide additional cooling through evaporation cooling when hung in front of an open window. A fan circulates the air so that it feels cooler. If you have interior rooms, perhaps a hallway, it will be cooler there. And good external insulation not only helps to keep the heat in during winter, but also to keep the heat out in summer. Otherwise, it is best to think about this during construction or at latest when you start using the rooms. If possible, bedrooms should face north or east. In the east, you will be woken by the morning sun, and in the north, you will have no sun at all and therefore no heat. In the south, the dining room or living room gets light during the day, warm sunshine in winter, and in summer, you will just pull down the blinds. In the west, hobby rooms or children rooms still gets light in the afternoon, but not the heat like in the south. If storage rooms or bathrooms are to be located on the outer wall, they are often also facing north. And if the 2 weeks before were a bit too rainy, then we should just enjoy some sunshine now. So, pack die Badehose ein, nimm dein kleines Schwesterlein Und nun zum Wannsee. Remarks, addition and comments in the comments. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.